the sky. So grab your mates and join us where the rats rejoice. The brazen brass of the working class are here to find their voice. Revolution holds us bound. Come on down to London town. Break your back for class and crown. Come on down to London town. Steam train running on a reckless rail. Speeding right into the rising gale. Shovel harder 'cause we're on your tail. London's bloody cry. London's bloody cry. Crippled to deliver the spoils of industry. Crimson are the rivers, bleed our grief into the sea. Slaves in seas of soot we drown. Come on down to London town. The cogs they creak and the pistons pound. Come on down to London town. Steam train running on a reckless rail, speeding right into the rising gale. Shuttle harder 'cause we're on your tail. London's bloody cry. Steam train running on a reckless rail, speeding right into the rising gale. Shuttle harder 'cause we're on your tail. London's bloody cry. London's bloody Come on down to London town. Come on down to London town.
Hello everyone and welcome to Final Show. I'm John, the executive producer here, and I've just got a few pre-show notes for you. First of all, I want to let everybody know that our addresses have changed. Our Twitch channel has changed from Senstaku to twitch.tv/FinalShowFilms, and our YouTube channel has also changed to youtube.com/FinalShowFilms. Next, we want to thank our $20 tier supporters on Patreon, which is patreon.com/FFilms, by the way, if you want to go throw a couple bucks our way. That's going to be Cat Waterflame, Antitonic, Samantha Bates, and Maureen Monty. Thank you guys for that. Also, our website is in the process of getting updated, so go take a look at finalshowfilms.com. We've got Mara and Jeremy are working on updating all of our stuff there, making it look nice and like a modern website, and frankly, they know what they're doing far better than I or Austin ever did. So if you want to check out the things that are changing over there, you go do that. Follow us on Twitter at Final Show Films for updates for all future things, including things that are going on with our website and things that are going on with the Patreon page, and things that are going on live as we stream them, as well as our podcasts and everything else. So thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a good day. we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Everyone is Warlocks Conflux. I'm Jack, your game master and storyteller for this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign here on Final Show Films. We're so happy you're back with us, and let's talk about all the people we have playing our characters here today. Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Korishana. Korishana is the Kalishtar and a Warlock because we're all Warlocks.
Are we? Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I am playing Masia, a healer, Loxodon, and another Warlock because we're all Warlocks.
Oh, that's so. John.
I am John. I'm playing Heaton, Tiefling Noble, and also a Warlock because we're all Warlocks.
Are we really? Mara.
People better keep this gang going.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Aurelia Clementine Evans, archaeologist and warlock, because we're warlocks.
Glad to hear it. Cody.
I'm Cody. I'm playing Cole, the Wild Hunt Shifter Warlock, because, yeah, I'm a Warlock too.
Good to know. And Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'll be playing Diamond Guitar, the Archfey. Let me check my notes here. Warlock.
Awesome. And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Wotan Saltspray, who is a dwarf, and I'm playing a pirate.
Fuck!
God damn it, William! Why can we not have good things?
I mean, if
You know that the rule of comedy is that the last person to go has to break the chain.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if I had been the last person to go, I would have broken it too.
The rule of comedy is there are no fucking rules. Anyway.
But our last moments in Conflux were spent in the lower levels of a cryptward mausoleum, where a small chamber forms the final resting place of Irnashana the Elder, a reputed oracle from the district of Dancer's Court. With Diamond having caught up to the rest of her compact earlier, the Warlocks pushed deeper into the crypts of the Hopsbrook Memorial Gardens, confronting the risen dead and collecting their skulls for bounty hunting purposes. Now, confronted with the partially pillaged vault of Korishana and Virshana's distant ancestor, our eyes are once again drawn back to the Hawkshead Compact as Korishana regards a broken reliquary, a mysterious inscription, and a headless skeleton with a ring on its finger. So, Korishana, as you look at this grave, this sarcophagus with the lid now propped up against the wall, the mysterious writing inscribed on the interior of the lid,
Yes.
and the skeletal remains of what you and your distant sibling are all but certain is Irnashana's corpse that ends roughly at the top vertebrae.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading through the inscription again, which I definitely should have done before we started.
Where is her head?
That is an excellent question.
Virshana starts to glance around the small room, looking at the bas relief sculpture into the stonework of the wall, bends over to peer down the sort of small tunnel that's leading deeper into the darkness. Definitely a result of either a structural collapse or a very, very ramshackle slapdash sort of tunneling effort.
Are you dead yet?
No.
I shout from up because we couldn't all fit in the room, and
No,
I didn't want to be
still
there
alive.
when they opened things.
Did you find anything? I said from also up there because there's not enough of this time.
Please hold.
Hold what?
I just let that question go. So it would appear that the stakes of our enemy are are more significant than just the elimination of us. I look over at Vir.
And for the first time, he seems a little kind of set back on his heels a little bit, having finally gotten to what he had initially been searching for and now trying to figure out what happens next. I suppose that is not unexpected.
No, not entirely, but still somewhat disconcerting.
Yes.
I think it would be likely to the detriment of everybody involved if they got out. At least that's how I'm reading this.
Well, what I know of demons, they rove where they will at their own impetus, unless they are dominated by another stronger member of their misbegotten race. Fairly rarely would they ever show up here because, well, once here, it's very difficult to get out. From what little I've been able to put together.
Can I... Yeah, is there some, I don't know, history or arcana or anything? Because I know I've done a fair amount of research into best way to put it, my rival.
Mm-hmm.
There's some history or arcana roll I could make in regard to this. How anything, any pieces that I might be able to fill in here.
Yeah, go ahead and give me either history or arcana, honestly.
I am equally okay at both. So
Okay.
11.
The last half of the inscription reads to you like a process.
Mm-hmm.
You're picking up 3 aspects,
right,
to either a summoning or something of that sort.
Almost, yeah, sort of prophetic.
Right. And Virshana talking about how it's difficult to get out. Yeah, loosing a entirely overpowered demon into a large metropolitan area would potentially be something on the level of a natural disaster. But at the same time, if he's stuck here, he can't really go anywhere else. So, I mean, double-edged sword-ish, maybe? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will take the time and write that down.
Okay. What's everybody else doing while that's going on?
I'm standing at the top of the stairs, apparently near Aurelia and whoever else is still up there, producing flame in my hand and making it dance with control flames.
Okay.
I know.
Who else went down into the chamber?
Diamond did.
Okay. And Maja did, I think, as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Are you guys doing anything?
Just making sure that no skeletons are coming to life or anything.
Okay. Maja?
No.
Okay. Go ahead, Diamond, and just give me a perception check then.
12.
On a 12, as you're looking around, just trying to make sure that everything stays intact, You do notice some weird stuff about the hole in the wall. There's a good bit of debris around it, kind of scattered into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Major, you smell something. Something kind of acrid and sharp, something chemical-esque. It's just the faintest odor. It's almost entirely dissipated. You both can see, you know, the cloth of gold shroud laying around the skeletal remains. The glass casing that's on the shelf above the sarcophagus has a jeweled golden top on it, and that little glass pane door is broken off and the pane shattered. Major, you can also see a couple clawed footprints, very small, leading through some of the debris down into the darkness beyond.
Would either the smell or the footprints be something I recognize?
You can make a nature check. If you're trying to ID the smell, that would just be straight intelligence. So you can sort of loop those both in together in the same roll.
Great. With nature, but I am proficient in nature, so I don't need to roll separately for the straight intelligence thing.
Yeah, go ahead and roll separately for that.
Well, yeah, I'm really good at actually making rolls that matter.
Yep, you can't really identify either of them.
Okay.
Somebody else might be able to, but you're not sure. You did spot them though.
Well, if it doesn't seem like the Shaunas are telepathically like having a conversation, Meja will indicate to the footprints. Wonder what that might be.
Anybody else who wants to look at what Mage is pointing at, you guys can make nature checks as well.
Yep.
Diamond, you're not sure. Nope.
God.
Jinx is down there.
Yeah. If you've been watching through Jinx's eyes, then yeah.
11.
Yeah, somebody beat a 10. Good job. Yeah, those are kobold footprints.
Kind of makes sense. I would know what those look like. So yeah, you just hear Jinx. Jinx just looks at Major and goes, "Those are kobold footprints."
Kobolds.
Does that match the smell, Jack, or no?
With the mention of kobolds, go ahead and make a history check.
5.
Nope. Anybody else want to jump in on that?
21.
I don't know if I can hear any of this. I'm like slowly edging away from Heaton and his.
I'm just up there like making my flames change colors constantly.
I am just gonna put like I'm gonna try and turn them, one of them green, like a section of it, because we're experimenting up here with presentation.
Well,
as I edge away and try and what's going on?
I'm using control flame to do that.
Korashana,
Mm-hmm.
you have heard stories of Winifred Scalebelly.
Okay.
She was a kobold, trapsmith, saboteur, and left a legacy amongst her kinfolk probably a good 200 years ago, which for kobolds is like 12 generations.
Right.
And began the first organized crime syndicate amongst the kobold population of Conflux. They're very good at destroying things, and they know more about the shallow tunnels and the undergress regions close to the surface than probably anybody else. Their small size, of course, helps in this because they can go in smaller tunnels than most other creatures can. And so they are deeply involved in smuggling, arson, and sabotage. creating a criminal network that spans more or less the entire city, known as the Scalebelly Syndicate. Major mentioning a chemical smell makes you think something explosive. Yeah, they probably basically found this place, blew a hole in it, took something valuable, and left.
Yep. Great. Awesome.
What's awesome?
No, that was me.
Nothing was actually said.
All right, cool.
Awesome doesn't sound like a word Korishana would use.
Yeah.
I don't think awesome is a word Korishana knows. Well, it appears that the scale bellies have perhaps taken something of value from here.
But
I think
what?
Get it? I think we should find out. I think we should, all due respect to our ancestor's sibling, take what remains here of value, since clearly there is a point of interest here. There is apparently people just stealing things from it. So they would probably be safer not here, and then go find these kobolds. See what they took.
Very well.
And then I
Proceed.
realize I'm speaking telepathically, and I restate it for everybody else.
Virshana follows your lead very well. Pursuing them, yes. Determining what.
Sorry, did you mention the Scalebellies?
Yes.
I might have someone who might know a thing or two about them, all things considered.
Expectant look.
One of my contacts specializes in information regarding the undergrass, things going in and coming out. The elf is one of my favored contacts for smuggling jobs and underground transitions, things that need to disappear for a bit. You might be able to tell me a few things about the Scalebellies in exchange for some coin or some favors.
What kind of favors?
The not legal kind.
That's really not specific.
It will. I'm not going to be able to be more specific than that. He's a broker of information and of tasks. He could give me anything from an assassination to a smuggling job.
Major will quietly whisper to Wotan, I suspect Hedon is asking if his profession comes into play.
Oh, I mean, honestly, that's useful in any kind of job that you would need someone illegal for. A face and a distraction are always welcome.
No, dear.
No, I'm quite serious. Literally, a prostitute is useful on literally any criminal activity.
I'm asking if you want me to sleep with your contact, Wotan.
No, that's fine.
Now that we have that
Just
cleared
mean
up.
that.
I would have painted a broader picture if I had realized that was necessary.
You've got to enter my wavelength before you can steer me off of it.
That
So
sounds
we have
like a
to go-
challenge.
Wait, is
Fine.
that a euphemism for something? I'm not. good
Yes,
with
it is. No matter what.
No, it's a
Wotan
nautical
says.
pun.
I'm not good with those either.
So we have to go find some kobolds? Is that what I heard?
We have to go find a kobold criminal organization.
All right. Can I see what's down there? I'm gonna slowly
I
begin
haven't
edging my
left
way.
there, so I'm shouting this up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I
So really, you
begin
finally
to
go
push-
down there.
Yes.
Right.
Have fun.
Give me a history and a religion check, because
Ooh.
you're an archaeologist. This is your
Yes.
bag.
Yes.
And now that you're actually looking around, you might be able to pull some ideas here.
Nope. 7.
7
Okay.
and 7.
God,
Nice.
that's terrible.
The only two things that you can pull,
Yep.
even with 7s, there's an inscription on what seems to be the interior of a sarcophagus, which means probably late or last words of significance by the inhabitant of said sarcophagus.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that thing on the shelf is a phylatory.
Ooh.
So there was some sort of relic in there that has obviously been taken and removed.
Mm-hmm. How big is it?
It's probably about a foot square cube,
Okay.
I should say.
What we were looking for here? It was it the sword? Yeah, the Deathkiss blade.
No, we were.
No, those you just got off of one of the
Oh, that's right. Yep,
skeletons.
yep.
We were
That's from
thinking,
something else.
yeah, we were thinking that maybe
the mask.
one of the relics, possibly the sepulchral, the visage sepulchral, would be
That would
behind
fit.
all the undead things.
Yeah, I was about to say a foot cube box
Give
would
me an
probably.
investigation check then, Aurelia, if that's
Yeah.
what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm. 20.
So you go look in the phylatory, and there's a piece of kind of older decayed velvet there with a couple of indentations from whatever was sitting on there.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that ain't a mask. That's where her skull was.
Ah.
And that, yeah, there's no skull in the coffin, and that, yep. Somebody took her head bone.
Someone stole her skull.
Yes.
That's odd.
Why was her skull put in a case and not in the coffin?
That's a very good question. Is there something
Speak of
does
medicine.
when I look at the vertebrae, does it look like it was removed forcefully, or if this, like, because you can't just let a skeleton skeletonize and then remove the skull and put it somewhere else? Does it look like it was cut off?
Make a
Make
medicine
curious.
check.
Medicine
Okay.
or arcana
Yeah, you
for
can-
what
you-
use the skull might be.
You can make a medicine as well there, Major.
For the natural one.
Major, you know that sometimes the skull is treated differently during the embalming process, usually for ceremonial purposes, but other than that, meh. Aurelia, you're just kind of looking around. This place would like you could do some research down. Somebody could write a paper. Somebody could write
Yes.
a grad paper
Oh,
on this.
definitely.
You should
There
tell your friends. You should, because some of them are probably like there's graduate programs and projects, and this, I mean,
Oh yeah.
really
So
well
I'm gonna under
preserved.
the
Plus there's the human interest angle of the grave robbing, so that's kind of could get
Yep.
a little punch
I
in there.
know that you said that I know that you said that your ancestor was unlikely to be religious per se, but might there be any spiritual significance to the head, perhaps?
I begin furiously sketching a map of the entire place because this is fascinating. And
It
I have
might.
praise of every archaeologist, which is it was clearly a ritual purpose. Because that's what you do when you don't know what a thing is. Archaeology jokes. Carry
They
on.
were brothers.
Sorry.
Koroshana.
It may. I mean, I would think that we are a very. There could be conceivably some ritual purpose. It depends a lot on. It depends a lot on Imran's, talents and that sort of thing, but any learned career path type things aside, we are a psychically gifted people. So just very inherently, the skull has certain connotations, and there might be something in relation to. Are you mapping this?
Yes.
Why?
So that we can know what it looks like when we come back out. See, that's why you make maps, and so I can let some of my friends, and then
Absolutely not.
what?
First time they've ever been like angry.
Why not?
So many reasons. But the short of it is, this is, aside the obvious, this is somebody who, I don't like the idea of many people just scouring through somebody close.
Which is why we have a bag of skulls. Yes.
Yes, I'm taking that stuff with, but also, there is, and I point to the inscription.
Oh, yeah. Can I read that? That's not a language I can read. What
That's
is?
not a language you can
That's
read.
right.
The
Yeah.
short of it is,
What does that say?
forgive me. The short of it is that there is, as I have sort of explained, an entity, a demon who wishes our line dead.
Yeah, you've mentioned this enemy a couple of times now. Do you think they might have been the one who hired the kobolds to retrieve the skull?
I mean, they are a greater demonic entity. I don't know if they hire people, but they may have servants.
I
who have.
mean,
They may have servants who have, yes.
that's what to say. They also have warlocks and
Yeah.
things like that. So I feel like servants aren't too far out of the question.
It's definitely possible. But the inscription provides potentially a way to release said person upon this city. And the less people who have access to that, the better.
Wait, what? Can you explain that further?
I think that was pretty cut and dry.
It was very clear. There are instructions on how to release a greater demon of ice into the city. And I don't want this to be spread among academics who like to inherently share knowledge, and then it gets to the wrong people.
Yeah, no, that was pretty clear, even from up here.
That seemed pretty cut and dry, actually. Yeah.
Aurelia, do we have your commitment not to share this information as it is personal to one of the members of our group?
Yes.
Insight check, because last time this did not listen to me.
Insight check with advantage because I have advantage on insight check.
All right, make your insight checks.
Oh,
And Aurelia, either persuasion or deception, whichever one you're actually doing here.
We're very proud of you, Jeremy.
10.
She is lying through her fucking teeth.
It's more like, yeah, she wants to share some of it, like not the whole thing, but this is fascinating, and just yeah.
It was just a little too glib and a little too quick.
Yep.
Marishana.
Casting hold person.
Okay.
Oh, first time of the new campaign. So
Make your wisdom save there.
It can only happen so many times this time, though, because limited spell slots.
This is true.
Sorry.
Yep. Nope.
So you're held. I proceed to take the map from you, from your frozen, paralyzed body.
Damn it.
Crumple it up, put it in my backpack pocket, whatever.
A single tear.
Could somebody help me remove Aurelia from here?
I've got an amount of strength I can give a hand.
Thank you.
As that
The
happens,
two of you,
Well,
and
Bill-
Aurelia, you can make your second save now.
All right.
as patiently and calmly as possible, explain that if we
20.
are a team working together, respecting other people's boundaries is important, and stuff like that. Like full grandma lecture.
Oof, to the petrified person.
But
And-
I saved.
Yeah.
Right now,
It doesn't
Aurelia, as you are bodily removed from the chamber, your ability to maneuver your body parts returns. You are being held by two of your compact members as Grandma Elephant gives you a lecture on proper group interaction and
I
ethic.
will- if I can do so without it being loud enough for Woden to hear, because I know that I don't know who this has or hasn't been shared with. I will say, just as we have respected your relationship with your sister and your boundaries and expectations around that, I hope that you will respect Ektrakora's family and their expectations and boundaries to that effect.
Hmm.
I go down the stairs.
Fine. Yeah, no, I get it.
Jack.
Yeah.
The feat that I took for level 4 pertains a certain amount of knowledge. I'm assuming I don't actually have that knowledge just yet because we had no time between. Yeah, okay, I figured.
I will not share this with anyone, Cora. I promise it on my gun as I put it back in the ether.
Another insight check, by the way, on the statement.
Sure, sure.
Deception or persuasion, Aurelia?
All right.
So
15.
good.
Nice, Cora. She's
Coming
telling the
through in
truth.
the clutch.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
telling
I
the
want to
truth
point out
that
that was
time.
a nat 20.
And in that one, yeah.
Mhm.
Duality.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Because even when he's good, Jeremy is still Jeremy.
Yes.
I've slipped down into the lower chamber and I'm looking around for myself now, and also holding up a bout of currently purple flame in case anybody has something they want to burn while I'm looking around.
So we should probably establish like how stealthy I can do things. Because I'm gonna cast detect thoughts on Cora as we descended into personal.
Make a sleight of hand check.
All right,
Jinx will turn to Cora and be like,
because they're looking.
"Want me to go down
at
the
me
tunnel?"
now? But sleight of hand. Yeah, no, I can't roll for shit today.
I was gonna
Rolled
say,
like
is
2
anybody's passive perception lower than 6?
I hope
With
not.
how I've been rolling, you'd feel like it, but no.
Okay. Yeah.
Harry from the last campaign, but that's neither here nor there.
So I try and cast something.
All right. So you
then I
you
stop.
cast it. You're just so you
Okay.
don't. I mean,
No, I do
you
not.
can still cast it. It's just people will see you.
I will not.
So you start to make the gestures and then just
Nope.
let it drop.
It's that thing where you go, magic hands, magic. Oh no, I'm just doing a dance. Never mind.
No.
Who are you, Aang?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I can. Okay.
So I just wanted to look around and see what all was down here because I hadn't.
Okay.
I'm the only one that hadn't down here yet.
Yep.
Was there? Did someone mention a ring previously? Was that there was a ring somewhere?
Yep. Ring on the
was.
skeleton's hand.
That said, we were pulling stuff from.
Okay, you're close.
Yeah,
I don't know
no.
if I got
At
that.
this point, Virshana pretty much had started on that whole sort of thing. The broken phylatory is set down because the jeweled top on that is at least worth something. There's the cloth of gold shroud, which is slightly decayed, but could probably still make some level of value to it on resale. And he's sitting there holding the ring and just kind of looking at it.
Does it look remarkably well kept for having been in a crypt for however long?
I mean, it's still sturdy and shiny, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some dirt on it, but he's sort of just rubbing that off with a thumb.
If anyone, and just saying it to the Shaunas, because I know Korshana already knows, but Vera might not. If there's anything you want me to look at to see if it's magical or not, I can do that. I say, looking over his shoulder at the ring.
Vershana, just in Cora's mind. This seems to be the only thing of personal significance to
Indeed.
her. Shall your friend investigate?
Yes, absolutely.
Or do you simply want it?
No, we should find out if there is something to it. We should definitely find that out. I mean, if you're willing, if you're willing to let go, I was honestly going to say you're the elder, you have more right to it. But if you're willing to let it go, I will happily take it.
In this case, sibling, I am waiving my right to heirloom in lieu of right of decision. But let your friend take a look first. And Vershana, just without having said anything, drops the ring into your palm, Hedon.
I sit down cross-legged on the floor and cast Identify for 10 minutes.
All right. This is the second signet. While wearing this ring, you are immune to magic that allows other creatures to read your thoughts, determine whether you are lying, know your alignment, or know your creature type. Creatures can telepathically communicate with you only if you allow it. You can use an action to cause the ring to become invisible until you use another action to make it visible, or until you remove the ring, or if you die. If you die while wearing the ring, your soul enters it unless it already houses a soul. You can remain in the ring or let your soul depart to resume its cycle.
Does it seem like there's still a soul in this?
As long as your soul is in the ring, you can telepathically communicate with any creature wearing it. Aware can't prevent this telepathic communication. Identify cannot tell you whether or not there's a soul in the ring. In addition, while attuned to the ring, you can expend the ring's single charge and take 1 minute to cast Augury as the spell. Once this is cast, you cannot cast it again unless the ring regains a charge, which the ring can attempt to do at dawn on any given day. Basically, if the ring doesn't contain a charge at dawn, you roll a d10. On a 10, the ring regains 1 charge.
Boss.
So I hold it up, and then I just toss it to Korshana.
Okay.
You're going to want to wear that. And then I pull out a piece of paper and begin writing down all the information I have about it and then handing it to Korshana.
Yep. Yep.
Because I'm not saying any of that out loud.
No problem.
Fair.
So after a couple minutes, you also get a note with all of that detail on it.
Okay.
And I'm putting the ring in your journal, Jeremy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I just hold up a thumbs up towards Korshana without saying anything.
I look over at Vershana.
I am following the
Are there-
kobolds.
Yes, no, that is definitely
You and your friends will pursue the information that the pirates spoke of. Should I find anything, or should I need help, I will contact you.
Vershana.
None. They're just staring back and forth, of course, again. But yeah, go ahead, Hedon.
Vershana, do you know if your ancestor wore a mask?
I have heard nothing to indicate thus.
Right. Because if it was buried with them, then maybe it would be on their skull still, and that might have been why they took it.
If there is one, we will determine it. In the meantime, I will not be able to carry these with me where I am going. And he hands you, Hedon, a burlap sack containing 26 skulls.
Will take. Add plus 26 to the skulls.
He hands the maul, the two-handed maul, to Torvald with a quiet nod. And Torvald, surprisingly, simply quietly returns the nod and takes the maul. Vershana sheds most of his armor, packs it into a bag, hangs his greatsword over one shoulder, looking like he's trying to lower his profile as much as possible. Sibling, where do you live currently?
Blah 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 blah. Name of the district, but yeah,
The Hawkshead House in Knives Font.
Yeah.
nice fun. That's it.
That is where I will send any information should I find anything and need assistance as I pursue these thieves. And he starts crawling down the little hole.
Okay.
Hands and knees. It's the best he can do.
A good elder.
Jack,
Yeah.
does it just relying on my knowledge of arcane things that I got from school, however good that is, does it seem likely that the disturbance of this tomb is related to the rising of the undead or ancillary to the rising of the undead?
It's ancillary, probably.
Okay. So this probably isn't necessarily the place that caused all the undead to start rising. If we want to keep looking for that, we could probably go back out and try to find the center of this hole.
I mean, how often does the undead rise here again?
Apparently, it's pretty periodical. It's a regular thing.
Yeah.
For how long has that been going on?
Nobody seems.
Yeah, history or a religion check. Anybody who wants.
Sure.
Yes.
History. 17.
13.
11.
That's a nice 6 from me.
10. That's closer to a good roll.
Turn off. 21.
Hey!
Anybody who got over a 15,
3 of us.
undead rising in crypt word is one of those things. It's kind of like having a drought during the summer. You know, some summers, most summers are probably fairly decent, but occasionally weird shit happens. Not necessarily as a result of any one particular individual or incident. Just it's one of those things that happen.
I mean, when you have the one district devoted to graveyards, that's where the undead are going to be if they ever show up.
Shit happens, you know. Yeah, not the sort of thing that you can always chalk up to, you know. Oh well, there's this artifact or something. Sometimes it's just they start walking around, man.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out if there was like this started happening 400 years ago when this started happening.
Nah. Nothing that you're aware of as far as that sort of thing goes. It's just one of those things that occasionally starts.
Well, if there is a source to this particular undead outbreak, which there may not even be, it likely would only stop the current rising of the dead. We would likely see another eventually.
Yeah, question.
Yes.
So we have gotten a lot of skulls, but I don't really know exactly how many. How many more skulls do we need to make rent?
Oh, we've already got more than enough for that.
You got enough to make your minimum rent. Yeah.
I've been keeping track of the skulls. We currently have 77 skulls.
Diamond, from where you're standing, you suddenly hear something.
Gross.
And Bubbles is there looking up at you.
Hi, dude. What's up? What you need? Do you need more leather? Hey, Korshana, can you read Bubbles' mind?
I can attempt it. Worth mentioning, the ring is now invisible.
Okay. It'll still take a little while for you to fully attune to it, but yeah.
I can't do the augury thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will attempt to read the just detect thoughts, just see if there's anything.
Okay. So you cast Detect Thoughts on Bubbles. There's a quiet period.
Wait.
Well, are you just using your innate telepathic communication, or are you actually casting?
I'm sorry. No, correction. I had a momentary brain fart about
Okay.
about the mind link. Yeah, no, it's not detecting thought.
Right.
I will try to speak.
Okay, what are you saying to Bubbles?
Forgive me for intruding, but do you understand me right now? Do you understand us?
Hungry.
They're hungry.
Okay. Cool. Good to know.
Yes, they do have thoughts.
I mean, of course he does. They do. And
Do I see a troubling pattern on how frequently this creature is going to need to eat?
Right?
You can make a nature check.
oh, can I do that too?
21, finally!
Finally.
Okay.
You don't know if an acid-based oozling has like a metabolism per se so much as they kind of... You could probably just feed this thing and it would just keep eating.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it's necessarily going to be a problem. It's not like a black hole where it never runs out, but it probably has a level of, if it's hungry, you feed it, and it's probably not just going to keep mowing down as a reflex, but it will probably get hungry. And then you'll feed it. Right. But yeah.
Okay.
It's not like a reverse why the sea is salt sort of fable thing starting up here. No.
Well, then this is Diamond's responsibility because she wanted a pet.
I do. I'm so excited. Is the leather from the skull thing we fought earlier?
The armor?
Yeah.
I mean, you've still got some scraps of it, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just Simon, like, just hands it, puts it on the ground. It's like, there you go.
It's kind of like watching somebody eat jerky,
Yeah.
but all at once, like an
Yeah.
entire bag in one mouthful.
So my uncle, yeah.
Yeah, it just sort of scrapes all the scraps inside and then sort of starts wandering around while they slowly dissolve on the interior.
So I've got a bag of skulls.
Yes, let's go get paid, shall we?
Yeah.
Well, if that seems to be the end of our adventure down here, then yes, I suppose leaving to go get remuneration might be highly advisable.
If there are any,
To the gates!
if there are any spare skulls,
They're aren't! Let's go!
No, Jack. If there are any spare skulls that I see on the way, I am grabbing them and putting them in the bag.
Yeah, no, you guys have pretty much cleared it out as it goes.
When we get back to the skeletons that we fought or whatever, and was just the one wearing studded leather armor?
Just the one, yes.
Damn it. If we pass by any others that were wearing studded leather, I'll take that.
Yeah, no. You guys have fairly well looted the entire
You know,
entire
I
band
just
of them.
I just realized that your pet's going to be highly valuable.
Please don't use whatever the bubbles is as a corpse disposal unit, Wotan.
If it needs to eat, is all I'm saying.
I mean, it does seem to serve two purposes, not in that term yet necessarily, but in terms of our garbage bill is going to go way down.
Also, he's adorable. And
wait. We pay people to take garbage away?
Yes.
You just
I
see
don't know,
this
probably.
You just see this look of confusion on Hedon's face. Because whether or not that is a true thing, Hedon has never done that.
No.
Where do you think your used condoms go?
What are condoms?
I have so many.
Goodbye, friends.
But retracing your steps, you guys, there haven't been any respawns, as it were, as you follow the path back out.
Well, of course, we haven't rested at a Buddha statue yet.
Right, exactly. And
Or campfire.
after
It's
about an
medieval, it's
hour
the
of
Bloodborne
walking,
one.
you find yourselves back.
So a lantern in the middle of nowhere.
Guys, let the DM speak.
It's not our fault he's talking very quietly and easy to overcome.
That's the mic. It does
Yep.
the reset.
But you guys find yourselves back at the gate where the guards are now standing at a table. And one of the individuals that you haven't spoken to, because you guys only had come in previously. Well, you've got a count there, have you?
77 skulls.
And then however many Torvald has.
Torvald's been with you guys the entire
Yeah,
time.
that's
Okay, yeah.
He's included in that.
yeah.
Okay.
That's everyone's skulls is in that pile. Oh,
And-
and 3 of these, I say, pointing at the halberds that Torvald's carrying.
All right, we can add those to your tally then. But skulls we'll take an inventory of, and arms and armor you can set over there for your separate way out.
I can't wait for, since this is a great bureaucracy, you'll receive your payment by mail in 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 business weeks.
They tell you where to go for your voucher redemption?
The tavern down the road with the gentleman running the casino correction, right?
Yes, you'll be looking for Master Hendrik Burnaway. Are we doing individuals or all a lump redemption?
Lump sum. We'll split it later.
He kind of glances around, waiting for what he assumes will be the objections from other people, but if nobody raises any,
Yep.
very well.
Wotan's doing the accounting anyway, so.
He'll write down a script for you, stamp it with a seal, sand it off, let it dry, take that down to Master Burnaway, and well done. Glad to see everyone survived.
We're at least halfway decent at our jobs.
Make sure that thing gets to Wotan. So he
Yeah.
can note it down in the book.
Yeah, I pull out my journal and immediately start noting down the exact amount and the cause, and so I can do the math later.
Okay.
We did commit to split with
Yeah.
what's his name?
Torvald, yeah, Torvald is in here on an equal share.
Yeah, I've got a markdown right below it for the actual amount in taken after paying everyone else.
Yeah. 1/7, 1/6, something like that.
1/8.
However many of us there are.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8. 1 8.
Yeah, there's 8 of you guys, so it'll be an 8-way split.
Cool.
Does it happen to say how much we're getting?
Based on what it says, it looks like you guys are getting credit for 71 skulls, which will be 142 gold, plus an extra 36 gold for equipment redemption that you recovered from the
We have
undead.
77
They
skulls.
shorted us 6 skulls.
Yeah.
Did you say 77?
Yeah, 77.
Oh, okay. 77. I wrote down the wrong number then. Whatever 22
sevens.
times 77 is, plus the 36 for the equipment.
So 2 times 77?
Yeah,
22.
2 gold per skull is what you guys were.
So 154 plus how much for the halberds?
36. That's a nice
36.
number, actually.
190 divided by 8 is going to be 23 gold, 7 silver, 5 copper per person.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Are we
Uh,
all splitting, or are
Oh,
we going to the place now, or?
but I should hang on, multiply that by 7. So that's 100. So the grand total for our house is 166 gold, and 2 silver, 5 copper.
Yep.
And we owe a percentage, right?
Yeah.
What's the percentage?
Also, this is a great case for why income-based rent is actually a bad idea. As
Oh,
long
yeah.
as it seems like it would be more accessible.
You are not wrong. Because the
I mean-
landlord gets the better end of the stick.
Eventually, we're going to kill the landlord, so...
And get all this back. So it's a temporary thing.
This is not Skyrim where the merchants just somehow hang on to all the gold that you spent there.
Well, no, but we are hardly the only people paying rent to the were-rats.
No, probably not. All right. But you guys are headed down to the aforementioned tavern/gambling den.
What's Bubbles doing?
Just following you.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be really conspicuous? I'm concerned.
We're already really conspicuous.
Did the guards have a reaction to Bubbles?
The guards noticed, and like a couple hands went to, but it seems to be just following you around.
Dope. Cool. I'll
And
let that keep
they're
going.
just, no, they don't seem to be like, I mean, they're watching.
Diamond,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to keep you and Bubbles outside the casino because we don't want to pay damages to the floor.
That's fair. I also don't really kind of want to go in there. Sounds awful.
Oh, casinos are great. Great way
So
to
I'll
make money.
stand outside and make sure nobody that we don't like goes in there and tries to steal our money, I guess.
I don't think we need to worry about that.
Yeah.
But
I'll stay
keep an
with
eye
you.
keep an eye out just in case anything dangerous shows up.
There's nothing more dangerous than me and Bubbles.
Exactly.
Just a dangerous little ray of sunshine. Let's go.
I'm almost your height.
Little in the grand scheme of things, not little like comparatively.
Let's go get
Noodle
paid,
arms.
shall we?
So,
All right. So you guys follow the directions from the guards down the street and come up on the building that you had been told to look out for. There's a faint strain of delicate music that drifts from the door as you approach the establishment. The smell of sugar, citrus, spice, and alcohol within mixes into a subtle perfume of invitation. There's a deep wooden mahogany sign on the exterior that has an onyx-colored inlay displaying the name of the premises hung just over the doorway, which should be showing up in everybody's Roll20 now. Welcome to Icing Dicing. With a subheading that it's a long way to the shop if you want to buy a roll.
Yes! I'm sorry, Aaron, but yes!
You're welcome, everybody.
We are never
hostess-
going anywhere again.
This is my
Compact,
day. I
compact.
get to say where the businesses
Shut
are
it,
and what
do
they're
not
called.
leave their house, and especially never patronize a business.
But a hostess greets you as you enter, eyeing your mud-spattered garb before flashing a very friendly smile. I suppose you're here to speak to Mr. Burnaway, then. Well,
That to be correct.
please make yourselves comfortable, avail yourselves of the entertainment, or buy something from our bakery if you'd like, and he'll attend you shortly.
How far is it to the shop?
It's literally right
Wow.
inside.
Okay. So it's not actually a long way to the shop if you want to buy a roll, but you know.
Well, but the role that they're talking about is all of the gambling games that they're talking that are pretty much right in your face as you come in.
Yeah, it's a
A number of well-appointed people managing the various games that are happening, and it's fairly busy for a early afternoon.
Jack.
Yes.
With my extensive experience being a noble child who spends money,
Mm-hmm.
how easily could I take a casino using magic?
You don't really know how that's going to go, except for the fact that you might be able to incorporate some of your magic on being able to bluff if you're playing other players versus the house.
I was saying press
Most-
invitation to change cards around.
Eh,
That doesn't necessarily last when come up to inspection.
and that sort of thing tends to be fairly overt as well. I mean, you do recognize at least 3 of the games that are being played now, so you already know the rules and what you'd be up against. So if you're interested in looking into the gambling, I can let you know what your options are there. Anyone.
I was just sort of like sort of leaning against a thing with a hand, with a fingernail in my mouth, leaning over to Wotan. Hold me back, Wotan.
Don't get yourself killed.
But I could make so much money.
You could get yourself killed.
But I could make so much money.
You could get yourself killed, and I would not stop them.
Aja will lean in. It would be so disappointing if our plans fell apart because you didn't have the self-control to find your satisfaction in the places you were able to benefit from it.
I have no idea what you just said.
Stick to getting laid.
That is essentially what she said, but yeah. I don't know what's up with my microphone today.
No.
no,
We heard you, but Hedon's like in a headspace right now.
So is anybody looking for games, or are you just waiting?
I am waiting.
Cora is definitely just waiting.
I'll look for games.
All right.
Yeah. Hedon is Klaus Hargreaves right now.
Of course you are.
Fucking come on.
Yeah. Okay, so are you looking for dice or cards? Dice. All right. There's 2 currently running: Gon's Grant and the Faces of Sayanine. So the simpler one is the first one, 2 gold buy-in. If you're looking for the cheaper one that seems to be slightly more complicated, that would be Faces of Sayanine.
I'll do the simpler one first.
Okay. 2 gold minimum buy-in.
I will spend 2 gold.
Okay. You'll roll 2d6. If you get a 7 or a 12, you win.
It's craps.
Basically.
Two 2s.
You can put in another 2 gold and roll another d6 if you want to.
Fantasy gambling.
Which will add to whatever your total is.
Oh, which will add?
Right. So
So it just has to total?
So if you would get a 3 on it, you could still get a win.
Okay.
On your 3rd die.
Sure, why not? Cole's never gambled before. He doesn't know that this is how it works.
All right. So
8.
All right. So you are down 4 gold.
Yep.
Unlucky, but thank you.
That's the most money he's ever lost in 5 minutes. So
5 minutes, dude. 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Well, within 5 minutes of him walking in, being like, hey, watching for a little bit, and then be like, oh yeah, I'll try. What do you mean it's gone?
Basically.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't get involved with gambling.
No, now he's gonna go look at a card game.
You haven't been paid yet, Cole.
So for the card game, it's a 5 gold minimum initial buy-in. You start with a D8.
I'd cheat at this one.
You could try if you want. But are you going for a table that's fairly full, or are you going for one where it seems to be fewer people playing?
Fairly full.
Okay. All right. Are you just going for the minimum bid initially? All right. So you sit down at a table with 3 other people.
Gems. I'm going to take one of the gems and just put that in as my...
Oh, big spender. Hey, big
couple raised eyebrows, but okay.
I don't have a lot of gold on me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Terrible.
Oh,
So you put one of those gems in, which I
Not
think
there.
we had said were worth.
I have it written down 10 to 15 per gem.
Yeah. All right. So you put in one of your.
damn.
So you put in one of your gems. There's a little bit of a raised eyebrow, and the dealer picks it up, fixes an eyepiece, takes a look at it. I can offer you 7 for this.
Do I know? I was able to tell what it was before, wasn't it? Or...
Yeah, you had kind of a rough idea. But you also know that bringing in sort of outside, you kind of have to take what they offer.
Yeah. I'll be okay.
Very good.
Oh, sweetheart.
Man is betting at a 7. Everybody else kind of puts in basically chips, which are the equivalent of that. Roll me a d8.
7.
7. All right. Meanwhile, the others.
Oh, look, it's Luck's run.
Put in their 7. They take. Right? Now, at this point, you roll a d6.
4.
All right. So your total is 11 right now. Raise, call, or fold.
What is the point of this game?
So basically, at the end, so there's going to be 3 periods of dice, and then, which is basically you guys drawing cards, and whoever has the highest total at the end for their full hand is considered the winner. And they get 80% of whatever's in the pot.
Okay. I'll raise.
Raise how much?
2 gold.
Okay.
Cole goes broke with what's left of his money.
I know.
All right. So you're up 2 with a total of 11. Now they are going to draw their cards, and we'll see how everybody responds.
I mean, you started out with a pretty decent hand.
So you raise one of them. Actually, everybody else calls. Yeah.
Started with a
With
decent hand.
whatever it is that they have.
Started with a decent hand, but we've been rolling like crap.
All
The
right.
next ones should be
2 ones.
Now you roll a d4.
That's 13 on a D8, a D6, and a D4. 5 plus 3.5. Average of 8 plus 2.5. You're above average right now, so.
Raise, call, or fold.
I'll raise 1 more gold.
1 more gold.
One more.
One more.
All right.
You're now 11 gold in.
They actually will call you on this. Give me either a deception or a performance check actually before they make their final decisions.
Let's see. I have a question.
I have a question.
Since
Go ahead.
I have actor, I'm trying to pretend that I know what I'm doing. Does that count as me being another person?
No, not really.
Damn it. Okay. Otherwise, that'd give me advantage. All right. So 15.
Okay. Yep. So they'll just carry on and they'll call your bet.
Okay.
All right. So what's your total?
13.
13. Okay. So at the end, dealer calls for cards faces up. And out of the 40 gold here that's on the table, you actually have the highest total.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And you win.
Awesome.
Hey!
I was looking like a
Don't
good
do it again.
I'm on a streak, guys.
Oh no.
Quick,
I love
quick,
this game.
I know. One win is not how a streak works.
quit while you're ahead, Cole.
There is no
So
such thing as a
you are
one
given.
fight, a one match win streak.
Yep.
Takes one to get addicted.
I mean, kind of, yeah. So
I've never lost.
out of the 10 gold that you put out, you get your 10 back plus 22 more.
Awesome. Plus my gem back.
Yeah. So basically your gem and your money all comes back to you with an additional 22 gold.
Awesome. I will look. Are you guys is the dude talking to anybody yet?
This group just sitting in the corner, just
Watching
Keeping
and
their hands in their pockets, like, don't do anything.
which is when a suave half-elf in a shimmering waistcoat and breeches strides up to you. Well, I do say, peers at you through a monocle, Cole. Seems that the luck favors you. And another successful troop of cleaners, what? Master Hendrik Burnaway, and pleased to meet the lot of you. Now, you're a ragtag-looking assorted bunch, no offense meant. Tends to happen, you know. Most citizens of a traditional lifestyle prefer a much safer means of employment when they can get it.
Well, we come from all sorts.
And what should I call you, sir?
You can call me Wotan.
Bolton, 'tis a pleasure. Would you guys like to step off to the side here while I pay out what other income you have coming to you then?
Yes, let's have a side conversation, shall we?
Excellent, excellent. Oh, well,
This was fun, guys.
right.
All right, you can buy so many scones with that money.
As we move off to the side, I will go ahead and offer him the voucher.
Splendid. Well, look at this then. All right. I'll pay out your wienings then. Right then. So, any questions, any concerns, any report? You're free to make that while we're counting this out.
Actually, there's a bit of a question. Some information might be worth gathering while we're here. Have you seen any signs of kobolds filtering around some of the graves, trying to do some robbing?
Just to remind, in your head, I just scaled that.
Yes, I seen some signs of the Scalebelly group moving around in the graveyards, and wondering if you might have seen any of that activity.
I don't think I have, but appreciate you giving us a bit of information on that.
Kobold tracks and some blasted holes in some tombs kind of gives it away. So,
Oh, well, if that's been reported, well, I think I can throw that to the warders, and we might be able to get some more official backing to get this whole rather unpleasant situation handled, as it were.
yeah, I think some of the families living here might be upset to learn their graves are being desecrated.
Oh, and those types tend to not pay terribly well, if you know what I'm saying. So, yes, but with that being, whereabouts did you find this evidence, was it?
Do I know the general vicinity of that grave? I'm not trying to give the location of the particular tomb, but
So you're not going to give him the exact...
yeah, I'm not going to give him the exact tomb. I'm just saying that the activity was in this vicinity.
Just roll me a just straight intelligence check then.
Because I know that I'm trying not to give that particular tomb away for Korra's sake.
Okay.
After 20.
Natural 20. All right. So you know that the particular mausoleum you guys were in was number 4621.
So in the 400 blocks.
4,000.
For the 4,000 blocks, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if you just give him the 4,000s, is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, I was given. I've spotted a little bit of activity around the 4,000 blocks.
Was it then? Well, I'll definitely have some people take a look. We'll send some folks out in force, and I can tell the warders what we've been looking at. But appreciate the extra information.
Of course.
Well, but
they've been a bit of a thorn in my side, so we were going to end up having to take a look ourselves in their activities elsewhere. So,
what sort of business do you run then? That you've been running up against kobold smugglers and?
I do a bit of trade up and down the rivers.
Oh, all right. Well, good to know, Mr. Wilton. But well, I appreciate you providing us with these bit of intelligence then, as it were, I suppose you might say. But here we are. Yes, thank you, miss. And he hands you a small coffer with 190 gold in.
All right. Yes, and I sort of we're going to need if we can split one of these gold into some. I need at least 7 silver and 5 copper to pay out our friend here.
Well, we could get you some smaller denominations then, yes, and definitely, as I'm sure a man of your intelligence is keenly aware, keep an eye to your backs as you're carrying this tidy little sum wherever it is you're headed next.
Yes, I think we'll be keeping to the river, as it were.
Good enough then. Well, pleased that you were able to come in and give us an hand and help keep things to a lower key now that you've made your mark on Apsbrook. So, my recommendation, of course, as proprietor would be to take your time, avail yourself of anything else you need in our establishment, but hopefully we will be taking that shingle down a bit sooner now that you've done your bit to take a big chunk out of our undead problem.
Always glad to do some work.
And he'll give you a smile and allow you guys to go your way.
Mota's going to start heading out if people are going to follow him.
Okay. Anybody else hanging out to possibly win and or lose more money? Okay.
I've made my mark.
Okay. You're the guy that showed up, won a hand, and decided, good, bye.
Hedon,
All right, so
IRL.
Hedon
Yeah.
is practicing hitherto unknown levels of self-control.
Okay.
So I will pay Torvald out his 23 gold, 7 silver, 5 copper.
Excellent. Well, shall I follow you the rest of the way, or are we?
23. Hang on, I need to do quick math.
Okay.
190 minus 23.75. This is 166.25. Yeah,
I mean,
sorry, I just did that math.
I don't think we need an escort per se, but if Aurelia would like to keep you company, I say looking at Aurelia with the
I'm
most
outside.
suggestive look. I think we're already outside.
Okay.
Do I know how much needs to come out of this to pay rent right now?
From what you had in terms of what you were told originally,
Yeah.
when you had spoken to Mencken initially, you guys had established a 20% with a minimum of 60.
So 166.25 divided by 100 times, well, not times, 166.25 divided by 100 times 20. So that's still under 60. So minus
Right.
60.
So yeah, you guys are still needing to, Yeah, you haven't made it to the point where the minimum is going to be less than the percentage you would otherwise have to take. So you're still sitting at a flat, pretty much at a flat 60, unless you're counting in any of the other income that you guys have all individually had.
See, I don't live there.
You don't live there.
Mage doesn't live there, and no one else has reported any income to me, and so it hasn't gone in the ledger.
Okay. All right.
Because we're all really good at being honest.
Oh, that's right.
Because you guys are basically keep pretending that this is the only income you've had.
Well, no, Diamond definitely had money from the
Because most of you have had, yeah, right. Most of you have made money in smaller denominations elsewhere.
Yeah.
Diamond kind of started out, and then I was gone during the one session that this was kind of getting added up. So if Wotan wants the, we can retcon that where Diamond's just like, oh yeah, you can have the rest that I don't give Aurelia for her gun and stuff, and we'll just hand him.
Yeah. He's essentially just going to take 60 out of this stack and put it in its own sack, and then divvy out the rest, which is 15 gold, a silver, and 7 copper to everyone.
Yes.
And then just, we have this 60 here. If we break over it and need more, it'd be 15 gold, 1 silver, and 7 copper. Sorry, not 17. 15G, 1S, 7C. There you go.
All right. So where is everybody headed now that Torvald is sort of just kind of looking at you, Aurelia?
Yes. No. I'd like to keep talking to you about how this went, and if you want to keep doing this.
Well, you'd mentioned that there might be some other potential endeavors you had in mind, so I thought I'd make myself available, as it were.
Yes, no, that would be great. You and Chiswick.
Who is just kind of
still, yes,
standing to the side.
Yep, I'm just
quietly.
fascinated. I'm real curious actually about this dude. I'm gonna spell a spell on this. Sure, why not? Detect thoughts on Chiswick. He's there. I'm curious. He's been following us around for a while. I'm not lingering yet. I'm just seeing what's
Sounds like
going for whatever seems to be on the surface for Chiswick.
Yes,
now.
I'm just very curious. Yes.
And I do hope these people don't put him through any unpleasant circumstances.
Oh, he's adorable. Okay.
Terrible if I had to report another death back.
I'm sorry.
Jack,
Yes.
can we see Chiswick?
Yeah, he's standing there.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, because I haven't made this check, do I recognize him or like anything about him?
From your
From being a
standpoint,
noble?
he is a valet of valets. I mean, he's almost a walking perfect stereotype. Cleanly dressed, subtle. Everything is brushed clean, tidy. The hair is combed, possibly with a ruler.
Ideal valet.
He is a manservant of manservants. Like, as you're looking at him, he's so good as to be exactly what you would expect, but nothing is out of place, and he is not putting himself forward. Wherever they found this guy,
He manages to avoid
exactly
professional.
he manages to avoid eye contact no matter how I move.
He never looks you directly in the eye, but
Oh, I'm a
seems to be watching everything somehow without looking like he's watching anything. And not in a weird way, just enough to show that he's available for whatever is needed.
Ooh.
There are so many Black Butler jokes
I
that
know.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
If only I had had a manservant as manservantly as that.
I mean, yeah.
You would have turned out
For
no
anybody
different.
who has cracked the cover of a PG Wodehouse story at any point in their history, this is who you're looking.
I would have
at.
turned out.
This
I would
man-
have turned out no different, but I would have had more fun.
This man is so Butler-like. I'm surprised his name isn't Jeeves.
Jeeves was not a butler; he was a valet.
You literally described this man as a valet.
Right? Yeah, no, and that's who this is. It's basically Conflux Jeeves. Yeah, pretty much. If Bertie Wooster had been the sort to run out and murder things on a proper fashion.
No, my manservant was much more. I'm the butler, sir. I butler.
Yeah.
Much more Tim Curry than.
See, you say murder things on a proper level, and now I've got an image of this character of Chiswick as Walter C. Dornez.
Again, the butler from Artemis Fowl.
Butler. His name is Butler.
His name is Butler.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Butler.
All right.
Butler's built like a meat locker, though.
Anyway.
I shift the detect thoughts to our good friend Torvald.
Oh no.
I'm curious.
And
Yeah,
Aurelia
To the
dies.
whirlwind inferno.
I'd wait for Aurelia just to collapse.
Actually, we don't know.
No,
You
you
would
don't.
just be fooling us.
Thinking voice is super quiet.
I know. I'm very
Yeah.
curious.
No, his internal monologue
Mhm.
is basically something along the lines of, well, whatever seems to be going on, I hope it's going to be a lot of fun, and if it's not a lot of fun, well, I hope it tastes good.
with fucking like air horns in the background.
It's the Vuvuzelas, whatever those fucking things.
Vuvuzelas. Yeah.
Vuvuzelas.
Yeah.
There we go. That's how. No, I would absolutely like to talk with you a little bit more about that. I had actually a thought of some information gathering you could do that would be very helpful for us.
Shall we have this conversation on the boat ride back?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. We will accompany you, Chiswick. Yes, we're going this way. There's going to be a boat.
Wotan, do you have per se something on your boat that will keep Bubbles from eating the wood of your boat?
Well, from what I've seen, Bubbles has a very good ability to not dig a furrow in the ground, so I'm suspecting that as long as it doesn't want to drown in the river, it should be fine.
Diamond turns to Bubbles and is just like, just make sure you don't eat the boat, and I'll get you some stuff when we get home, okay?
If you're concerned, you could also carry him.
I tried. I have tried. It does not work.
Bubbles seems to be cooperating, and he's definitely still following you guys all around and isn't causing any overt problems.
As I'm looking, he's not digging a furrow in the road, is he?
No, he seems to be able to travel across whatever surface he's attached to without, He just sort of burbles and follows.
To the boat.
I'm gonna go somewhere else real quick.
You go somewhere else. To the boat.
Where are you going? Wait, where are you going? Are you going on an adventure?
No, the Raven Queen's temple is over here, and
That's way more.
Do you want us to wait on you, or are you going to get your own way back?
I mean, you guys can come if you want.
I'd rather not.
The question was whether you want us to wait for you at the boat or whether you want to get a carriage back.
I'll probably do neither, but yeah, I'll meet
Bad
you guys
enough.
back at
We'll let you find your own way back, is what I'm saying.
yeah, that's fine.
All right. So while the rest of you are headed back to the Hawkshead house, I assume?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
we will follow Cole to the Temple of the Raven Queen, which you find without any trouble, having been there now a couple times. But you once again step up to the broad raven engraved doors. Are you doing any preparations before you arrive?
Yeah, before I like get near within like 100 feet or whatever, I'll use Mask of Many Faces and do my best to look like the dude that I saw in my dream.
Who look like him specifically?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't hear him talk long enough, so I won't be able to impersonate him, but
But you're going to try and at least look like him. Okay. All right. So you wearing a false face and trailing.
Raven is off somewhere. No,
Okay.
the Raven is off, and I'll leave. Jinx actually will follow them on the boat. She'll be about.
Okay.
She'll be like my walkie-talkie to be like, "Okay, guys, I'm on my way back now."
Okay. What's the distance on familiars in terms
with the pack familiar, she can be anywhere on the plane.
Okay.
The Raven is within 5 miles, but
Okay.
it'll just like land on the temple.
All right. So
until I make my dramatic reveal, if I do.
Okay.
It's me.
So you step up to so wearing somebody else's face.
Yep.
Who may or may not be a real person that you but you walk up. Okay.
Walk up and I'll see if anybody any of the people that aren't busy react or
what clothes are you putting this person whose face you're wearing in?
the same ones that I saw them, the robes that I saw them in.
All right.
Gloves and everything.
Okay. Sounds good. So you enter the Temple of the Raven Queen. Push open the door. Step inside. The pit is there, still being raked by different but a pair of acolytes. There's a number of the same doors with the same attendants blocking their way, and a few people sitting about. You walk in, looking around, and everybody seems to recognize you. Yeah. There's a few nods your direction.
I'll nod back.
Do you go up to talk to anybody?
No, I'll go over to one of the doors that's being blocked. Let's say the door on the left.
Okay.
And
see.
I'll just see if I
just
can
to
open it
approach.
and walk through.
As you walk up to it, it's simply, Brother Altea. And they step aside and open the door for you to go through.
Sweet. So I'll go through. Shut the door behind me. And kind of look around like, what the fuck?
Okay. But no, apparently you're wearing somebody's face that they recognize.
Brother.
The name was Arter, which is one of the names that had been mentioned to you at the party.
Yeah. Okay. Apparently I did not describe him well enough. Yeah, no, now I'm gonna didn't think this would Uh, now I'm just gonna snoop around, see what rooms I can get into, see if I can find anything about Artir.
As you go inside, you.
Is there any? I don't know how these temples are set up. I've never been in one.
There are a number of passages and chambers. And you seem to kind of have the run of the place. Nobody stops you, at least initially. If you're just making a cursory walk through the halls, everything's fairly quiet. There are a few chambers that you pass, but it's laid out in a very organized fashion. There are a couple libraries or studies that you walk past, offices, attendants, and then of course there's a large courtyard out the back, which seems to be a assembly area for exterior events. And there's not really a particular like back area, or all of the main events and assemblies seem to happen out by the pit in the main chamber for the beginning of the temple. Most of these other places are quieter, more private chambers, areas of veneration, smaller shrines. And then that's at least on the initial area. If you're trying to push further in or further below, there are stairs and avenues leading downward to lower levels. Are you headed that way at all?
No, I'll actually go back to one of those libraries.
Okay.
And see if I can find anything on holy adjudicators or anything, if that's even a thing in their church, and see if I can find anything, any not like a clerical room, like for record keeping, after, if I can find anything.
Yeah, there are a number of those. And as you come in, there's many books and records that are kept, mostly of things that would be on sort of an operative level. There's lots of the temple seems to do a great deal in terms of affiliated services and operations regarding Cryptward itself. And most of what they keep here is particularly involved with the maintenance and the general conduct of the operation of the entire district, and then of course the operation of the various embalming services, burial aspects, treatment and disposal and arrangement of remains. If there are any that are unclaimed, those are usually taken into custody by the temple. If there's anything notable about them, they're investigated, but unclaimed bodies and cadavers tend to be sold back in for industrial and economic purposes, because as far as raw materials go, dead bodies got some good stuff to it.
So do they just they're like John or Jane Doe, basically?
Pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna check. And in those,
there's no sort of
yeah, I'm just
particular descriptor.
I'm just gonna check back to see
right.
27 days, if there's anybody, any females that.
Yeah, it's not even remotely like a morgue or anything. It's just body was found.
Okay.
Because most of the time it's a body was found or a body was brought by the gray faces.
Okay.
Most times, like if a body is just like abandoned, it doesn't seem like those are brought in unless it's found by the warders. Right. If it's somebody on the street that finds a body, this very well. That shit is taken and sold, and the money is pocketed, right? Yeah. That doesn't even make it through. So yeah, there hasn't been much. Those are fairly uncommon, that unless it's gray faces, that the body is brought to the temple of the Raven Queen.
Awesome. I will take that.
Because if you bring it to the temple of the Raven Queen, you don't get paid. Right.
But when I got to the courtyard and before I headed back to the thing, I'll have my raven land on my shoulder, and I'll keep the robe, but I'll drop this dude's face when I walk back through, so it looks like me but in the robes.
Okay.
On my way back, when I go to look for anything on the adjudicators.
So as you leave the library, that's when you drop the face, or?
I'll make sure nobody's near me, but yeah.
Okay. As you're leaving, you turn a corner. Roll me a d20.
It's a good thing you dropped the face, because you walk straight into our tear.
That's what this 20 is going to find out. You do not walk straight into our tear. You do not walk straight into Brother Nielsen himself. But you walk into somebody, an older man, actually looks a little bit similar, kind of sallow face, pale, older, receding hairline, wearing similar robes, but less ornate than the ones that you're currently in. Who are you? And why are you wearing ceremonial? You're not one of our... Young man, I think we need to have a conversation. And he grabs you by the elbow and just starts to drag you off into a side room.
The raven on my shoulder squawks at him, and I'll say, "Hold on a second. My name is Royland. I was looking for someone in particular."
All right.
Then I'll drop the robes, so they just disappear.
Young man, you have some explaining to do. And he pulls out a bell on his belt and just rings it twice.
Raven Queen, I'm looking for somebody named Arter. I received a vision, and I like to know why.
Which is when 4 people swarm in, 2 on one end of the hall, 2 on the other, holding staves. The man holds up a hand. You claim to have had a vision from Our Lady of Ravens.
Yes.
Very well, then. Eyes shoot to the raven on your shoulder, back to your face. And he kind of holds out a hand to sort of gesture for you to walk rather than be dragged into this side room.
Yeah, I'll walk in there.
He beckons for the 4 individuals to follow. And he points at a stool. Take a seat then, young man.
I'd rather stand.
And I'm sure these men would rather not beat the shit out of you, but we don't all get what we want today. Give me an insight check.
I'm awesome at these. Bam! 13.
The way these 4 people carry themselves as they sort of funnel into the room reminds you of those 2 hobgoblins you saw at the party down in Underbow.
Ouch. Ouch.
You've never heard of Monks of the Raven Queen before, but if there are some, these look like maybe them.
Down then.
He walks to the other side of a desk. Brother Mokal, if you would record. One of them leans their staff up in the corner, steps over, sits down, and pulls out a book. The man who had stopped you slides a quill and ink over to him. He dips it and prepares to write down. The higher ranked clergyman who's directed you in here steeples his fingers. Tell me from the beginning what she showed you then.
She showed me him from his point of view doing some sort of ceremony, pronouncing a holy adjudicator, whatever that is. The only reason I care is because she promised to help me if I helped her. And if he can help me find what I'm looking for, that's all I'm concerned about.
Our Lady does watch over lost things, so finding that which is missing is definitely within the purview of this temple at times. Where did you hear adjudicator? That is not a term that is often spoken outside these walls.
From him.
You're using a lot of pronouns, young man. You're going to have to be more specific.
From Artair. The only reason I know his name is because I used his face to walk in here.
Can you do it again?
Yeah, I'll do it again right there. Robes, everything.
You can hear the monks behind you sort of... There's a little bit of tension in the room. I'd heard the great game was back in play. I assume...
Jinx pops up on his desk. Yeah.
Well... Brothers, meet your first warlock. So you had a vision.
Weird, huh? Yeah.
Where Our Lady showed you Brother Artair doing appointing an adjudicator, you say?
Yeah. Yeah, he took a raven's feather, dipped it in a chalice, or that was lying in a chalice, dipped it in blood and drew it across somebody's face.
Interesting.
Does that sound familiar?
Well, I've spoken from time to time with Arter and his perspectives on the various temples and their duties as far as the running of this city goes and the governing of our society. It's the only time I've ever heard someone reference the possibility of there ever being an adjudicator. And if Our Lady is showing you visions of him doing that, he's going to be goddamn insufferable, so we'll have to tell him about this at the right time.
I don't think she wants adjudicators. What are adjudicators even supposed to do?
Well, if Brother Arter gets his way, they would potentially function as something of an investigator, a judge, and a jury. Not executioner. We're not going quite that far with them. Brother Arter has a number of sympathetic ears that bend his way due to his, shall we say, untraditional ideas of the role of religion and government combined.
Is he normally at this temple?
Frequently. This is, of course, the great edifice of Our Lady of Ravens. Say what you will about our divergence in philosophy. Both of us are deeply committed to an orderly city. And we find that her philosophies and teachings and all that goes with them is highly conducive to the proper sort of mindset for a living being to maintain. So you've had visions of clergy of the Raven Queen making governmental appointments. But you say she doesn't want that. What makes you think that?
Because him and the adjudicator were killed at the end of the vision.
Well, death does not mean one is out of favor with Our Lady of Ravens. Rather, that's more of a transition period.
Yeah.
Things happen when they happen, young man. So tell me what else you saw in this vision, and please don't editorialize.
He said something about errants and their heretical assault. Pronounced himself as the voice, or as her voice. And she was supposed to be the ninth. The person being anointed was supposed to be the ninth holy adjudicator. So this wasn't the first one he'd done.
Nor the last. Generally one per district, by his organizational plan. Well,
I mean, it would be the last because he died, but you know.
Fascinating. Seems Our Lady does indeed listen to what sort of things get talked about over dinners here.
I didn't see it as a warning, as something I should prevent.
No?
No. He was being killed for something he specifically did.
Oh.
As
Well.
whatever he was claiming to be.
Well. What should I call you, young man?
You can call me Cole.
And are you a member of a compact?
I am.
Do you know the point of the game yet?
No. Not yet.
Make a deception check.
23.
Nice.
Nice.
Very well. If you've had a vision of the death of Brother Arter, I can't expect that he's going to be terribly kindly disposed towards you, or anything else that you might, well, for lack of a better term, preach.
Maybe share with him that whatever he plans, or whatever plans he has to maybe not, and save himself.
You're thinking that the rational explanation of what may be a portent of the future might help temper his more impulsive personality traits.
You're the ones that operate quite a bit on faith. I didn't even...
Clearly, you've never met a fanatic, my boy.
No.
Listen, young Cole. My name is Borkard Eriksgud.
God damn it, I just deleted you off my fucking G.
I like the idea that that's in.
Should you have any more of these visions, I would recommend bringing them to me rather than most of the others here at the Queen's Temple. Brother Arter, my colleague, I will admit, and a man of keen mind, strong personality, does have quite a following. There are many who feel that Our Lady of Fate should be given more sway to direct things according to their proper destiny, since she, and she alone, can see the vast majority of those options and has the ability to navigate us most smoothly towards the best outcome. Now, you have been on the receiving end of some of her revelation. I won't admit I'm not a little jealous. But we will have to watch carefully, see how this may spool out in the ultimate setting. If I know Brother Arter, and I like to think I do, he would be more inclined to try and turn this to the advantage of his own agenda, which he duly believes is in keeping with the fate that the Raven Queen has established for this plane. So I suppose from a certain point of view, I can't really fault him for what he thinks needs to be done and trying to do it. It's just he's wrong, probably. Or at least we definitely don't have enough information to make that decision yet. But information is what we will need going forward. And if you are her conduit or one of them, I would take it as a personal favor if you would be willing to at least try to keep me informed of anything notable or significant.
Sight check.
What?
I want to see if he's actually trustworthy enough to share. I just
Okay.
weird vibe.
Go for it. Yeah.
17.
He's not trying to lie to you right now.
Okay.
He's got the stance of a man who is definitely doing his best to navigate some very deep waters and doesn't entirely know what to do with what you've given him yet. Whether or not he's trustworthy, you could go either way on that.
Yeah. Okay.
But he doesn't have the feel of somebody who has made a decision and is chasing it down yet.
Okay. I'll say one more thing. He was declaring himself as her voice in the name Sacred Theocracy of the Queen of Fates. So I'm assuming that's what you were saying, that he has different views on how the church and the government should.
He believes that the church should be the government, and while I agree with him that if any church is to be the government, Raven Queen's Temple would be better suited for it than any of the others. But a bloody crusade is not, I believe, what this city would be best served by.
Already in place does enough.
At least not yet.
Well, then I'm going to go now.
Hopefully we will see you again.
If not me, you'll receive word from me.
Very good. Your path will be interesting. Of that, I have no doubt.
Yeah, it's been pretty fucking weird so far.
Next time you come as yourself.
So if I leave through the door that I came in this time, will you guys recognize me and I'll just be able to do the same thing?
You'll have to ask for me at the door, but...
Okay. Okay, then.
On your way.
Yep.
And they'll let you leave.
Yep, I'll turn and leave, and Jinx will sit on his desk for a few more minutes, and then just disappear.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I'll head back to the Hawkshead house.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get a carriage this time, because...
That'll be... probably about 5 gold.
Okay, I'm swimming in it now.
Yep. You can afford all sorts of road trips.
Yeah.
So, boat ride back to the Hawkshead house in a fairly full boat. Now that you've got Torvald and Chiswick with you.
Never mind, it's cold though, so.
It's still uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very
Torvald sits right down next to Aurelia.
Aw. I ship it.
All right.
Because we're on a boat.
Maisha, if you could do me a favor and take a hold of the rudder and just keep us on the right path. Aaron, if you're there.
Aaron, can you hear us?
Yes, I clearly missed something.
Yeah, Woden's like, Major, if you could just take a hold of the rudder for me and keep us on the right path. I'm going to take a swim ahead, shall we?
Okay. I am not proficient with water vehicles, but I'll do it anyway.
It's a very simple proclamation. Just push this way if you need to go left and this way if you need to go right.
All right.
All right. So Wotan steps up to the bow of the wave crest
And just
and
tips forward into the water.
doesn't even dive, just kind of lets his feet be the hinge and swoosh. Wotan, you're used to the cold of the water. You've spent more time in it recently than you honestly have most of the time that you've been on the river because you've got some weird facilities with it now.
Yep.
The embrace of the liquid around you is cold and then solidifies. You're used to being able to just swim freely through the fluid, but something caught you as soon as you hit the water. It's a thick black tentacle. It just loops around your legs, your waist, your chest, your shoulders, and drags you deep.
Hello there, old friend.
Breathing isn't a trouble for you. You can do that now.
Yeah.
Salt spray.
Yarmangander.
There are things you should know.
Things you intend to teach.
Secrets lie at the bottom of oceans. They are carved into the land by the rivers. Knowledge pools at the bottom of a lake. These are secrets that you should know. Drink them in. And you feel the tendril of a tentacle slide up the side of your face and pry your mouth open. River water just rushes inside. It's dank. It has a taste of mud, of death.
Just reflexively takes a swallow.
And you can feel the coldness just flow down your throat, through your stomach, and out your arms. And your vision blurs. Like, the bottom of a river is not a well-lit area, but what little sunlight was still filtering down through the murk just kind of scatters and dissipates a little bit. And then you start to be able to pick up, partially with your dark vision, but also with some level of awareness bestowed on you by your patron. You can see the currents as the waters flow. They start to form paths, lines, curves that begin to coalesce into patterns, connections, bonds. The course of a river across the landscape is not simply the path that water takes on its way towards a lower point of elevation. It's a text. It's words. It's inscribed there. And the inscription changes over time as the land and the waters shift, but the message, there's a deeper meaning. Give me an insight check.
19.
And your brain, so long trained to be able to read the surface of a river and know what lies underneath, latches right onto this and starts to be able to parse and comprehend the various layers of meaning, things beyond just the physical, but now into the metaphysical and the mystical. And you can see how these patterns and connections and branches intersect to create systems of power, systems of energy that can be tied and tapped into and utilized. And with that, you've got access to your first few runes. The tentacle loosens and you find yourself free once again, and your head just kind of crests out of the water. And it's weird because you usually have always reflexively had to gasp for breath when that happens. Now you just sort of swallow whatever river water was in your mouth and you're fine.
I've been hanging off the prow of the ship. See Wotan come up. Man, you can hold your breath longer than I can.
Probably not, actually.
How long have you been waiting since we started going on boats to use that line?
A bit, probably.
No, actually, I have an 18 constitution. I probably can hold my breath way longer than you can.
12 constitution, yeah.
Not a healthy competition to have.
Oh, it's when it comes to lasting under a river, there's no one who's going to be able to last longer than I can.
I hope you appreciate the fact that we're having to yell this back and forth because you're in the river.
Back in.
Please. And he is kind of faster than anyone should be able to swim, is alongside the boat.
There's still a gap.
Fancied a bit of a swim, did you there, friend Wotan?
Just scouting ahead, he says as he pulls himself back on the boat.
Why would you have to scout ahead? It's a river.
There are many things that lie in the river, my friend.
And it took you 15 minutes to find them?
Well, I found out quite a lot.
I was betting that you were dead. Nobody else seemed to be terribly bothered, though, so I didn't bring it up.
I'm wounded.
I mean, you did tell us that you spent a lot of time in rivers, so I wasn't all that concerned.
I did spend 9 days under the water before.
Yeah.
Haven't we seen you do this before, then, Wotan?
Yes, I don't know why you're so surprised.
I mean,
No, I'm not surprised.
I was just more
Because,
coming.
though, pointing to Torvald.
I don't think he's ever seen it before.
No.
No.
No, this is my first nautical outing out with you all, so
Yes,
I'm quite enjoying myself, although I think we should have refreshments next time.
yeah. For future reference, the water is as much my home as the land is.
So, well,
That's a bit weird, but all right.
And the waves sustain me as much as the air.
so
Very poetic.
when are we gonna go talk to your elf guy?
Whenever the group of you are ready to do so.
Yes.
Ready to go.
Torvald.
Actually, Torvald, I was wondering if you could we've got some other business as a group that needs to be done. I think your considerable talents would be best served, as I go through my notes trying to find this guy's name again because I can never remember it. Just that would probably be a bad idea. Let's see.
Are you trying to get to do?
I'm thinking. Sorry, real quick. I did not think this through as we were having other stuff happen.
Do it.
Oh, let's do it. There's a ward captain in Fell Heights that we need some more information about. He's connected somehow with all of this warlock stuff, and I was
Well, I'm
hoping.
on fairly good terms with most of the warders that I've ever met. I'd be happy to go speak to him for you.
How many warders have you met?
Oh, half a dozen.
In what circumstances?
Just over the past week.
Uh-huh. Have you been arrested?
Heavens, no.
No, you were there when he met those half-dozen warders.
Did I? Oh, wait, no. Ward captains, he said.
He said warders.
Oh, warders. Okay, gotcha.
They're very adept at pulling people out of gutters when they've slipped.
Ah, I see. Yes. No. Generally, you don't want to sleep in there.
Or capturing runaway horses sometimes once Chiswick loses control. Very helpful chaps, warders, for the most part. Except, of course,
Yes.
as you all know, when they're trying to arrest you for attending a party.
Yes. No, that's just terrible. And so we are trying to get some more information about this Reinald Cledwin, I think is how you pronounce that. Yes.
Cledwin.
Cledwin. Yes.
If he's the Reinald Cledwin I'm thinking of, I once escorted one of his cousins to a social gathering not a year ago.
Ah, splendid. Yes, we were
She seemed
trying
rather
to...
lonely and then started talking to me about things like marriage, so I had to run away.
No. Torvald,
Not that I'm opposed to the
down.
institution as a whole, you understand, just probably not with her at present.
What was wrong with her?
Well, she was a bit... Trying to think of an appropriate way to say this that wouldn't be offensive to
We're on
anyone.
the water. No one hears us on the water. It's fine.
She's a bit clingy. And also possibly mad.
Like, mad as in really angry all the time, or...
She talked to her cats a great deal.
Ah,
Or was it about her cats? I can't quite remember.
I mean,
I had a bit to drink that day, you see, because it was a social engagement.
Drinking's a vice, you know. My mom always said.
And lots of things are vices.
I think that drinking is very good advice, actually.
Typically, yes.
Most of the time.
It certainly helps me.
but we
Good lad.
wanted to get some more information. We think he's involved in some underhanded business.
Well, if it's the Reinald Cledwin that I'm thinking of, whose cousin I engage, he's a bit of a cock.
Uh-huh.
Major, keep us going down this branch of the river, Wotan says as he kind of slowly begins to trace the Berkanen rune across his forehead, which takes 10 minutes.
In what sort of way, specifically?
Like,
I'm
is
curious.
he a chicken, or...
Well,
I'll do my best to boat.
Do you want help, Major?
If you would like.
I do. It's fun.
Wotan.
Feel free.
Diamond can have the boat then.
Whee!
And immediately
Let
cry.
Diamond make a survival check.
Oh, God.
She gets to add my proficiency bonus, right?
Yes, you can add Wotan's proficiency bonus to this one.
I'm already proficient in survival.
Okay,
Good.
never mind.
Nice. Good.
Come at me.
Hey!
Nice.
Diamond is really good at boats.
It's the rudder bit I'm good at. It's similar to we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Hello.
But no, just rather an unpleasant individual. Really thinks a whole lot of himself and not much of others, even when they're better at things than he is.
Ah, yes. I know.
What are
people
you
like
better
that.
at than he is, Torvald?
Dancing.
I believe that. You're a very good dancer from what I saw with you and Aurelia.
The
Throw that in there.
I put the effects of the Berkanen rune in for you, Jack. I'm doing the version on myself.
Okay.
No, yes. He sounds terrible. We also think that he has kidnapped a couple of or is holding them hostage to get leverage on someone else, and we're trying to fix that situation.
Yes, he's a bit of a bastard. That sounds like exactly the sort of thing he would do.
Mm-hmm. So we need you to kind of socialize with him. I know it's going to be unpleasant, but socialize with him, trail him. Well, perhaps it might be better if your butler trailed him, because you have a carrying voice. But
Notice that, did you? Yes. Well, the
Yes.
family butler's in Hallodoors, but I suppose I could send a message. Chiswick, do you think we could get the butler to trail somebody?
oh, wait, your valet. Sorry,
Oh, Chiswick the valet. Yes, Chiswick
Yes.
would be a much better. See, the butler's getting on in years, and so it might
Ah.
be a bit difficult for him to even catch up
See,
with someone if he was trying to follow
Aurelia,
them.
the difference is a valet valets and a butler puddles. You don't want to mix those two up.
see, I've never had either, so I do not know the difference.
I've had a string of both.
We don't want to know about your late night escapades.
Does not surprise me.
Not that you don't sleep with valets and butlers. That's
Why?
just rude.
Do you not have them as your customers sometimes?
No. That's just rude.
I'm confused. Why is that rude?
Yeah.
I shouldn't
Somebody-
have to explain this.
Somebody's occupation shouldn't stop them from paying for, services. Not your own, obviously, but somebody else's, maybe.
First of all, when you have a butler or a valet,
Which
that
none of us
that
have
introduces a level of intimacy that is inappropriate for several reasons, one of which being it's their job to pick up after you and clean after you and take care of your estate, which then makes it feel like they're entitled to directing you around, which isn't quite the way that relationship should work, and it's very inappropriate to use your status as someone's employer to sleep with them. That is incredibly inappropriate.
I like
And-
that that's the secondary reason. to
First control, second, yeah.
don't want them feeling uppity.
You don't want them feeling entitled, and then also,
No, not necessarily your butlers that are entitled to you, but maybe someone who is a butler
well, the
who
problem,
is asking for your services as what you do.
I mean, I don't ask what people's jobs are.
So you probably have slept with a butler or a valet or two.
Yes, but not knowingly. I don't go up to somebody's valet. I don't walk up to Chiswick and say, Chiswick, would you like a roll in the hay?
No.
That's inappropriate.
I'll pass, thank you.
Bless you, Chiswick. I like
I don't know
Chiswick.
where this conversation went off into a side alley, but it has.
No, we're in the boat, Aurelia.
Yes, I know that. Just
Wotan is just sort of focusing and looking straight ahead at the river while just very slowly tracing this symbol on his forehead with his thumb, just kind of repeating it constantly for 10 minutes.
But could you just follow for us for, let's say, a few days to see what you can find out about his patterns or patterns, what he tends to do, unless you know that already, in which case that'd be very useful information.
I don't, but I'd be happy to find out at some point.
Thank you. Yes. If you could do that for us, and see if you can find out where he might have these people being.
So we're looking for Ward Captain Reinhold Gledwin, who has somebody held hostage that we don't know who or what, but we want to see if we can figure out where and who and what.
Someone's niece.
A pair of dwarves.
Yes.
It was two nieces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a pair of dwarven girls.
Pleasure. Absolutely. When would you like me to start?
As soon as possible, I think would be.
Good. Well, just direct Chiswick as to where he can report to you, and we will find it out.
Yes. Are we close to the house at this point?
You guys have not quite made it into Stormways. You're passing Fell Heights and Dancer's
Okay.
Court at the moment, actually.
All right. Oh, why the hell not? It's the what was it called again? Falcon something.
Foxhead.
Hawkshead. There we go. And it was
Excellent.
bird. Hawkshead house in Knives Font. Have
Very
you been
good.
in Knives Font before?
Many a time.
Okay. Have
I
you?
got robbed the last time. It was very
Yes.
exciting.
No.
Slap cut to Cole, just like, what?
Try not to get robbed or stabbed.
Well, they didn't get stabbed. They communicated that they'd be happy to stab me if I decided to resist them robbing me. At which
Yes.
point I showed them that I was much better at stabbing things than they were, and I didn't end up getting either robbed or stabbed. Although Chiswick had a bit of a scrape, near miss with the crossbow bolt.
That is very good.
Isn't a
I'm-
near miss just a hit?
No, it's different than a far miss, which is somewhat different and rather embarrassing if you're
So
the one doing the missing.
It's a miss that came near to the mark.
It's a close
Yes.
miss.
Close miss, near miss.
all right.
'Cause that seems like if it was nearly a miss, then it was a hit.
No, it was
No,
a
not
miss.
a
that was
nearly miss, a near miss.
Okay.
There are big misses in between.
Oh, look, we're nearly there.
Yes, in that fashion.
You're staying in Dawnbreeze, though, correct?
Yes, I am.
So we'll just let you off there. Nice and convenient.
Yes, that would be, wouldn't it? Well, it was a pleasure being in your company, and yes, absolutely.
Have a lovely day.
Bye. See you
Or
guys
whatever
soon.
time it is. I lose track of time very easily.
Yeah.
Get the sky.
Is I sort of like as I'm probably like most of the way done at this point, but I sort of with my other hand indicate towards the pier. If you want to dock right there, you can let them off.
I can do that. By the way, if you're interested in arms and armaments, I don't know where you get yours from, but if you want to stop by Qatar Arms, they're really good. They're in Stormways.
Splendid. I'll look in on them. How do you know of them?
Family relations.
Ah, excellent. Well, I'm happy to take the recommendation then.
What are
Once
you drawing on
he
your...
has departed the boat, Major will. This is possibly not the most reassuring thing for your parents.
My parents are.
Sending Torvald to go see. Oh well, that's an.
Hey, we've had a lot of customers in the store before. I don't think Torvald's going to be the worst one we have. He's excited enough and will probably get excited about the things my dad has to offer. Honestly, excitement for my dad is mostly what I wanted to do. Also, word of mouth is the best sort of advertisement. So
It is. All right. I didn't even make a joke that time.
I believe Aurelia was about to ask Wotan something.
Yes. What are you drawing? What are you doing? This is...
It's a bit of a trick that I've just picked up from my patron from the 15 minutes that I was in the water.
Oh. What does it do?
Should offer me a bit of an edge in negotiations.
All right.
That would be useful.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of why I'm doing it right now.
Yes. Speaking of speaking, what are we doing next with this?
What actual
Taking down
time
the-
is it?
Right about now, it's mid to late afternoon.
Okay. Well,
The whole taking down the as we're getting back into the river away from docks. Um,
I am curious if there is any visual indication of the Burkanan rune once it's done being traced.
No, I mean, like you're literally tracing it and imbuing it, but you don't have to do it with a visual medium.
Okay. No, I mean, like, once it's complete, is there any indication that it's complete?
Yeah, you've got enough
Yeah,
facility
I have a
with what
sense
was
of it. I'm
imbued
just-
on you. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I have a sense of it. I'm just wondering if there's any visual indicator for anyone else.
Nope, not really for anybody else.
Okay, good to know.
what are we doing next about the whole taking down the government situation? We have our lead with the trying to find the skull and the artifact that may be associated with it. But we have to go find, or do you know, Wotan, do you know where to find this person?
The elf? Yes, I know where to find the elf.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. I wasn't sure whether it was we have to send a message out and wait situation.
No, I know precisely where to find the elf. It's just a matter of getting the right information out of him, which is part of why I'm performing this ritual. To maybe
Yes.
get a bit of help with that.
That would be useful. So the elf for information about this kobold gang, and then more information about Cladwin and where he might have those people.
Yeah, and I think before we make any major power moves on a political scale, having a more entrenched power base would be a good thing. Not having a were-rat landlord would also be a good thing, while having a base of operations, and establishing what sort of platform we intend to place me upon in order to achieve said political goals would also be good, because we sort of had 5 separate ideas of how we could go about it, but didn't actually determine which one we wanted to do.
I definitely think we should have a conversation with the gnome friend of ours who threw the party in the first place that the guard decided they wanted to break into.
Oh yeah, Van Dorn.
Professor.
Yeah.
You know where he ended up going?
Actually, I know where he did tell me where I can generally find it, didn't he?
He told you where you could drop him off, and that he was going to be trying to look for a place to hide out, but he did not tell you where that would eventually be.
But I did tell him where he could find us. So.
You did. Yep.
Well, I know the district he's likely going to be in, and I did give him a location to find us at. So that's 2 places to start.
All right. So hopefully you'll be getting in contact.
Frankly, I'm all up for doing anything that stalls out me having to take a political office. So let's continue following after the kobolds so we can help Koroshan out.
We cannot keep stalling this.
It will eventually happen at some point.
The thing is, taking down a criminal gang will only help our status.
Yeah, stall.
Yeah. Especially if they're kobolds. Like, not that I have anything wrong with kobolds in particular, but, you know.
Kobold grave robbers.
Yeah.
They tend to build a reputation, yes, that...
Like, taking out a gang of kobold grave robbers.
Okay, Jack, I would remember this, but Aaron does not. Were the people that were mentioned to be, we just ran into a few people who were guarding the gem that Diamond currently has in her chest? There were people guarding it. Were they gnomes or were they kobolds?
They were gnolls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hyena men.
See where I made the error close enough.
Yep. Nah, you're good.
So, figure out where Cole's at. Take him out. Go talk to an elf. Or go talk to an elf, then meet back up with Cole at the house.
Mm-hmm.
That second one's probably more likely, all things considered, because we're going to be heading down towards Shadow Shades to meet the elf.
Oh, okay.
We do also in terms of long-term objectives, it seems likely that finding those artifacts is crucial.
Yes.
I agree.
I
I wonder if your elf friend could help with that too.
Potentially, but everything's got a price with him.
mm-hmm.
Define price.
Gold or favors?
Jack, would I know, does Vascone, would their records have, because now that I know what I'd be looking for as far as like artifacts and things of power, would they have records that might be useful in trying to locate some more of these or not?
Vascone's got records of almost everything. They're not super interested in the magical side of things, but in terms of like the more practical hard sciences and just basic history and shit, they might have some details for you there. When you're going to research things just in general, you would know that universities, Temple of Ioun, or the Great Press up in Hallodoors are usually your best, your top 3 places if you're looking for just flat out information.
Okay. But probably not so useful for kind of the specialized stuff here.
For specialized stuff, you'd want to probably be looking at, so from a metagame stance, if you're looking for religious information, you go to the Great Academy of the Holy and Profane. If you're looking for arcana stuff, Magisterium again. History, Ruth Venerax, judicial colleges are probably your best bet. Although Vascone will have some. Anything on the sciences or nature type check information, Vascone is always the best place to go.
Yep.
And then for just anything information wise, you can always go look for an Ioun location.
All right. I'm wondering about going through some of the archives in Eden. I don't suppose you ever went to Ruth Venerax if you got kicked out of it at some point. No? All right.
Only went to the Magisterium, or the whatever it's called.
Yep, Magisterium, Mysterium, Sorcerer.
I said that right. Okay,
you did.
That's where I would go to find some more, if anything like this has been unearthed before.
I mean, I could probably get you in, depending on exactly how socially inept the people that run the library are.
Or I could get myself in, maybe.
Yeah?
I am a researcher.
You are. So why'd you ask me?
I was wondering if you had any specific in with anyone like you did at the Magisterium.
No.
Okay. Not that was that useful.
Hey, we got names and identifications and all manner of things. Thank you very much.
Okay. I was not as impressed as I thought I would be. I have been wanting to go there for years and years, and sorry.
Well, that's what happens when you want to go somewhere for years and years. It can never live up to that kind of expectation.
Sounds like you set yourself up for failure there.
Which is roughly the time I'm saying that the Wave Crest arrives in Shadow Shades.
Yep.
You navigate through the maze of channels and
it's like, I'll take the rudder back at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Just trying to make sure. Yeah, you've at least got a navigational path in mind now that you've been here once in the recent past, and eventually come up to the small jetty with the spiked black ironclad, iron faceted lantern hanging outside the very heavy door.
And you sort of reach up and knock on the door.
At which point, the panel slides back.
Down here.
I mean, if you insist.
Who's with you?
I present the rest of the Hawkshead Compact. Well, most of it. There's one of our number still scouting.
And what would he be scouting for?
Part of our job. He's nowhere near here.
Well, if you're calling to check up on information, I haven't heard anything about your ex-girlfriend.
Oh, no, actually, I've followed that lead as far as it's going to go. What I actually need is something else.
You can choose 2 people to come inside with you.
All right. Eden, Gorjana.
Go in.
All right. So you guys hear the rattling of chains, the clack of bolts being shot back, and then the door swings open about halfway and then stops. There's enough room to sort of sidle past.
I sidle in as elegantly as possible.
So Wotan sidles in, Korishana sidles in, Hedon sachets.
Yes.
At which point you hear something grind and the door slams back of its own accord and the locks shoot back closed. And you're confronted with an elf with a hand crossbow in each hand, cocked, loaded, and pointed directly at you. Come on back then. Let's see what you've got to offer.
Of course. Well, elf, you know that we've got the services of a group of warlocks and potential coin, if that's what you're looking for. But I feel like favors are more valuable when you've got people like us on the table.
Yes, I think that is true.
We're looking for the scale bellies.
Have you tried turning over a rock?
We're looking for where they keep important things they've stolen from Cryptward.
Bit more specific then. Okay. We'll see what we can do.
And aside from that, we're looking for dirt on Reinald Cledwin.
Whatever magic you have been casting has gone to your head, my friend.
The game's afoot, my friend. We've got jobs to do.
So what is it this time? Whoever kills the most warders wins?
Not quite, but something like that. That's probably going to be involved a little bit.
More than a little bit.
Very well then. You want Cledwin? You want scale bellies? Is that all?
Either of you have anything else that we might need to look for?
Does the term Fey Antiquities mean?
Should it?
Can you make it mean anything?
I can try. If I do not know what I am looking for, though, it is not likely to turn up anything.
I will pull out a sheet of paper and basically scroll down the amount of information that would be required to find them, to just like physically locate them. So what they're called, what they look like, what they vaguely look like as best as I can tell, and what they're known as, being the Fey Antiquities. And just sort of hand that over. Anything at all in their location would be lovely.
This is quite a heist you have planned, but I will check and see what I can find for you.
Well, when the game is afoot, your plans tend to grow in scale.
Yeah, that I do not care with. What I care with is what you're going to do to pay for this.
What favors would you ask?
You have 3 jobs. I have 3 favors.
Name them. We'll see what we can do.
One at a time, then. First, there is a half-orc. She is an enforcer for one of my competitors. I do not mean my competitor dead, but I need her enforcer dead. The half-orc's name is Gulara Farstriker.
And where does this enforcer typically roam?
Murktrima Lanes.
That's going to be fun. Do you happen to know anyone who's able to get there?
This bit of information I will offer for free. There's a woman in Tricktowns named Granny Cobwebs. She can get you into Murktrima.
Sending me to all sorts of new locales now, aren't you?
They can send in, or can get in. How do you mean?
You are familiar with Murktrima, yes?
Yeah,
How you must be able to dream of it before you can find it.
correct.
This one apparently sells dreams.
That's all you had to say.
Interesting.
What was the name on that?
Galara Farstriker is enforcer, needs to be killed. Granny Cobwebs and Trick Towns can get us into Murktrima where Galara is.
There you go. Yeah. Great combos.
Second, there is a book I need.
Well, you're going to have to tell us the book.
You will know it by this appearance and its title. It is bound in green leather with sterling silver fittings. The title, and it is rumored to be held at the Great Press itself in Howard Hallowdoors. The title is Breezes on the River.
You certainly ask of tasks fitting of a group of warlocks.
Jack,
Breezes on the water?
River.
River.
what do I know of the Great Press in Hallowdoors?
The Great Press in Hallowdoors is a large industrial complex. Is supposedly the brainchild of a eccentric, if not actually clinically insane gnome and his team of engineers. And it makes books. Most of the time, people just, if something needs to be published, you can take it up there, and for a fee, they will print off as many copies as you need. There are lots of urban legends about it. There's supposedly a lot of weird automation to the thing. There are stories of things being printed that nobody asked for.
I want to see this.
There are stories of mechanical aspects of it coming alive. Is
it a kind of place that you can just walk up to and go
Yeah.
inside? Okay.
Mhm. I mean, at least the shop front of it you can.
So why can't you go get that yourself? I say out loud. Why do you need us?
Because no one is paying me to.
Yes, but why do you need us to do that?
Because you have something I want, so you will do something I want. And I will do something that you want.
And your third task?
There is a contract that needs to be negotiated. You are familiar with the assassins below?
Only insofar as my dealings have been doing our best to avoid running into them.
I have a customer who has confronted me with a rather lucrative negotiation option. You will be my representatives in this, and I will find you the information you need. It is perilous, but I feel it is something that is more easily achieved.
Negotiating with a group of assassins in the I literally just forgot the name of the Underdark right now.
Underground.
Negotiating with a group of assassins that move in the undergrass is typically going to be dangerous, yes.
He reaches into a small cabinet and pulls out a scroll case. You'll be able to open this and investigate the contents. It is a contract for the killing of a government official. You will take it to the Anagere house.
And where will I find the Anageri house?
That is part of your task.
Mm.
But they are one of the 4 houses of drow assassins in the Undergrass. You will get them to agree to the terms.
How far are these terms willing to be flexible?
The payment is capped at 2,000 gold pieces.
No higher?
No higher.
All right.
For each of these jobs that you can bring me proof of completion, I will provide whatever I can possibly find on the information you have achieved.
Very well. As it turns out, this contract might just be useful for all our ends, so that won't be too difficult. Well, aside from getting to a house of assassins and getting an audience with them, but, you know, there's 7 of us and we're all warlocks.
You know, if I ever left this building of my own volition, I feel like I would like to follow you around and see how it is that you do all of the bullshit that you do.
It's mostly
It's nothing.
bullshit.
Bullshit and style.
Well, I am glad our relationship continues to operate on the same level that it has before today. All right, dwarf. Get out of my house.
See you later, elf.
I'll hold out a hand towards Wotan, that scroll case.
Pass it over my shoulder.
And as you all head homeward for the evening, with a multitude of assignments now that you can pursue, that is where we will end for the day. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
when everything is upside